This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about the 2006 brand extension draft that happened at the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma, Washington on May 29th, 2006. It's pretty simple. Paul Heyman is the ECW representative, and he's going to get 2 draft picks from SmackDown and Raw for the very newly created ECW brand. And given what happened at WrestleMania, everybody knows who the first pick is going to be. It's Rob Van Dam. And we know that he's going to go on to beat Cena for the world title a few weeks later. But then Heyman surprises everyone, and he picks you. What do you remember about that night? Obviously, it's not a surprise. You've been warned ahead of time. I only mention that because I think they've done a lot of drafts where the talent didn't know, including Jim Ross, that he was not going to be calling Raw anymore. And now he's going to be calling SmackDown. But you know it's coming. But did everybody else in the locker room that day? What was the reaction to it's really happening and we don't have Kurt, quote unquote, on SmackDown anymore?
Well, I think what it did was open up the situation with the boys and girls in the locker room that it's not just going to be ECW talent. There's going to be mixed talent on the show. And I think that when me being picked first showed that there was a chance that certain others would also be picked in the draft and they would cross over from Raw or SmackDown to ECW too.
The Observer would write, the choice of Angle is interesting. While SmackDown seems and is depleted with the recent short-term losses of JBL due to injury and Chris Benoit due to a number of reasons, it will also be bolstered in the next few weeks with the returns of Batista and Randy Orton, the 2 men who had been groomed for the past year to carry the brand. Angle's move to SmackDown was an emergency replacement for Batista. On first thought, putting Angle on ECW is a smart move. He's got credibility of being a major star for 7 years. The company needs ratings fast because they're only on a trial run with Sci-Fi. Whether the brand makes it or flops will not be determined by what ECW was, but what this version can be. And it has been very clear that Rob Van Dam isn't going to be enough to carry the brand. And people like Terry Funk and Mick Foley won't be there after One Night Stand. That's interesting that Meltzer is going to write essentially that Rob Van Dam's peak was 2001. And at this point, the WWF has positioned him as a mid-carder who could be a star, but he's not the franchise character maybe he could have been fresh out of ECW in 2001. Did you feel like when they drafted Rob Van Dam as at number 1 and you at 2 that it was a slight, or, hey, they're trying to make something with this guy, I don't really need to be number 1? And did you think that Rob Van Dam could be sort of the flag bearer for the brand?
I thought Rob could have been the flag bearer for the brand. I think that he was so talented and pretty good. I mean, there were times where they didn't push him as hard and sometimes where they did. I think they utilized him when they needed to, but he wasn't consistently a top guy, main eventer. And I think that's the reason why they picked me first.
Meltzer's got some other opinions here. He says, upon more thinking, this is probably the worst move possible for Angle. Angle's body has broken down badly, and ECW is being pushed as a more violent promotion, even though Paul Heyman called it a new direction of ECW. Even if Angle is a wrestler in the group and kept away, he will be performing 3 nights per week at house shows for a far more demanding fan base, and generally speaking, working with sloppier wrestlers and those willing to take more risks. On the 4th night, he'll be on SmackDown television, and fans there will also be expecting something different than what they had already seen on the show because of the ECW moniker. Will be shortened, probably greatly, if this move isn't rescinded within a few months and he's put back to where he can take more care of himself and has performers to work with that are less likely to mess up. What do you think of that statement, that maybe this audience is going to be more demanding and you'll push yourself even further, and that's probably not best for your long-term health? Did you think that's somebody who didn't understand you or wrestling who wrote that, or someone who had your best interest in mind?
If I would have read that back then, I would have said he's crazy.
Right.
Looking at it from my perspective now, he was absolutely right.
Right.
That's what sent me over the top. And I got injured wrestling in a ECW house show, and wrestling Rob Van Dam, my hamstring, my groin, and my abdominal muscle all at the same time.
God.
And looking back, he was absolutely right. It was the wrong move for me. Knowing that, knowing that the fans would be more demanding of me and expect me to do different stuff, and I would have to do more extreme stuff. That was definitely the case. And he was absolutely right at saying what he did.
I know we're going to talk about your departure from the company and that injury that you suffered at that ECW house show. That was really a big part of why you wound up leaving, right? That was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back.
That was the last match I had in ECW and WWE in 2006. That's after that match is when I called to meet with Vince McMahon at the headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut.
I get it. It's a wrestling podcast, but he's saving us money on our mortgage. You really trust this process? The reviews don't lie. 5-star review after 5-star review. We make it fast, we make it easy, and it's no cost or obligation. Give us a shot to earn your business. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did, especially if you like keeping more of your own money. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket, so what are you waiting for? Hurry to savewithconrad.com. Dave wants to know, did you or some of the other wrestlers think that getting moved to the new ECW was demotion? You've answered on your behalf. Did you talk to any other talent like Rob Van Dam, for instance? He's an ECW original. We know that he's in line for the big push. Does anybody feel like, man, I kind of been there, done that. I don't really want to do that again. I'd rather be on Raw or SmackDown.
I don't know. I think that Rob would have been excited about it. Especially ECW being in the WWE. That for one, he's guaranteed a paycheck. So,
yeah.
Sometimes they didn't get him back in the 90s in ECW. So at least he knew that he was guaranteed a paycheck every week. And I think Rob would have been excited about ECW starting up again. That's where he made his name, and that's where, he got his reputation.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.
I feel strongly that saving money is important. If it's not something we worry about now, boy, we are really going to worry about it later. And I want to help you get out of debt faster and do it with cheaper monthly payments. I'm talking to you if you're in a 30-year loan. Now is the time to take years off of your loan. We're routinely helping our listeners cut 5, 10, even 15 years off their loan. And you can do this without perfect credit with no money out of pocket. You've just got to start at savewithconrad.com.